Do you remember when right-wing people were freaking out about all these government agencies stockpiling ammo to the tune of billions of rounds? You remember that? Well, it turns out that under President Trump, they have continued to stockpile ammunition and firearms, which to me kind of shows that any of the plans that they had before Donald Trump took office are probably still unfolding, right? It hasn't stopped anything from happening. In fact, I would argue he has facilitated some of the globalists' agendas. So, this quote comes from Heinrich Himmler. Germans who wish to use firearms should join the SS or the SA. Ordinary citizens don't need guns, as their having guns doesn't serve the state. A lot of stuff has happened the last couple of days. For example, 49 dead in a horrifying mass shooting in New Zealand mosque that attacker live streamed to Facebook. I don't know if it was so horrifying if it was a mosque, but I mean, after all, we are talking about individuals, people, whose religion tells them it's okay to kill infidels. As a matter of fact, this religion demands that its followers kill infidels. No charges for cops who killed 6-year-old boy while trying to kill an unarmed woman. Is that a surprise to you? It isn't to me. I mean, he was only a 6-year-old kid, right? That's all. Cop grabs small schoolgirl around her neck and slams her into the concrete. And it goes on and on and on. But in this video today, I wanted to talk about this article. Did you know that your government is arming agencies like IRS, DHS, VHA, OIG, SSA, and NPS? And this comes from DC Clothesline. I'm amazed that they're admitting that this is still happening under Trump, since they are such staunch supporters of President Trump. And then this one over here at shtfplan.com, cyber attacks, solar storms, and EMP weapons. The U.S. power grid is extremely vulnerable, and an extended blackout is inevitable. And this is from Michael Schneider. Forgive me, my allergies are really bad today. I wasn't even going to do videos or a video because of it, but I'm bored, so. Michael Schneider from the Economic Collapse blog, or the endoftheamericandream.com. Alright. So, over the course of President Obama's term, the Department of Homeland Security, IRS, all the alphabet agencies began to purchase and stockpile weapons along with ammunition. And this isn't the only things that they were stockpiling either. They were also stockpiling food, MREs, these things. So, a lot of Americans have been mocking Venezuela, but the truth is that what has happened to them will also happen to us, and it will happen very easily. DARPA is so concerned about the possibility that a cyber attack will take down our power grid that they held extended exercises recreating such a scenario late last year. And even though scientists tell us that it is inevitable that a solar tsunami will absolutely devastate our power grid at some point, our leaders on the federal level refuse to spend the money that it would take to protect our basic electrical infrastructure. Now, why would they do that? Why would they just ignore a problem? Could it be that they're leaving it unprotected for a reason? Could it be? In addition, Russia, China, North Korea, among others, have developed extremely advanced EMP weapons, and we have absolutely no protection against them. One way or another, an extended power down situation is going to happen in the United States. So maybe it would be wise to learn some lessons from Venezuela. Without a doubt, life is shit in Venezuela right now. And the following comes from NPR, of all places. Signs of the crisis are everywhere you look in the Venezuelan capital. Drive around Caracas and you see long lines of cars waiting for hours at the few gas stations still operational, NPR's Philip Reeves reported from the city. Motorists park on the highways, cell phones aloft, searching for a signal. The rich have taken refuge in luxury hotels. The poor stand in lines in the street, Reeves added. The power outage has affected water pumps in some Caracas neighborhoods, meaning that people are waiting to fill water bottles at public locations, such as springs. Now, as the food supplies run out, people become more and more desperate, and of course, when people get desperate, they do desperate things. Hundreds of stores have been looted there, and the overwhelmed police are telling store owners to fend for themselves. Didn't Venezuela take the weapons from its people? Makes it pretty hard for this store owner to fend for himself, right? Looters smashed shop windows and made off with merchandise in more than 300 businesses across the state along the border with Colombia. The Zulia chapter of business organization Fed Cameras said in a statement. Now, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. It's FEDECAMARAS. About 100 people came into the store and took all the food. The point-of-sale terminals, said Maria Centino, 29, the owner of a store selling food and furniture that was looted on Sunday. They were people from the community. The police came by and they told me to sort it out myself. This after the Venezuelan government confiscates guns. Now, do you see the future you have if you give over your weapons? And there's a greater concern, and that is the fact that people are dying from a lack of medical care. Without electricity, there's not much the doctors are able to do, and one mother was forced to carry the body of her dead daughter through the streets to a morgue after the local hospital was unable to help her. A severely malnourished 19-year-old girl died in her mother's arms after doctors in Venezuela were first forced to turn her away because a massive blackout shut down a hospital. Heartbroken mother Elizabeth Diaz was forced to carry her daughter's body, which weighed just 22 pounds, through the streets to a morgue. You see what happens when you give your government too much power? They take your weapons. Then they tell you, fend for yourself. And with no weapons, it makes it pretty tough to fend for yourself. It makes it pretty tough to hunt animals. And just look at what happened to this woman's daughter. So malnourished that she weighed 22 pounds at the age of 19. Many Americans are mocking what is going on there in Venezuela. But the truth is, it can happen here at any time. The truth is, it is planned to intentionally collapse the economy of the United States and the government. So it will happen here. Many believe that the extended blackout in Venezuela was caused by a cyber attack, and unfortunately the truth is that the U.S. power grid is also quite vulnerable if someone decided to attack us in the same manner. Now, why would any fucking company put these online? Why would they put them on the internet? Why would they give anyone access to or the ability to get into our power grid through hacking? Last November, DARPA held a 7-day exercise that simulated what would happen if a massive cyber attack suddenly took place and took down our grid. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency exercise, which took place from November 1st to November 7th, was fictional, but it was designed to mimic all the hurdles and uncertainty of a real-world cyber attack that took out power across the nation for weeks, and on end a scenario known as a black start. To add realism, the exercise took place on Plum Island, a federal research facility off the North Fork of Long Island, where DARPA's researchers were able to segregate a portion of the island on its own electrical grid. Over the course of the 7-day exercise, more than 100 people gathered on the island, filling every necessary role to mimic an actual black start. And this is the only way our power grid could collapse or go down for an extended period of time. Our sun, as most of you know, is capable of producing a solar tsunami that could cripple our power grid at any time. Earlier this week, I came across an article about a gigantic solar tsunami that hit our planet approximately 2,700 years ago. Roughly 2,700 years ago, an unusually powerful solar storm swept past the Earth, scientists announced in a new study. Though it had little to no impact on people in that long pre-industrial and pre-technological world, such an event today, well, it would cause widespread power outages, and it would completely devastate our satellites, everything with electricity, right? Navigation, all that stuff. The solar storm in 660 BC was about 10 times stronger than any known event in the past 70 years, study lead author Raymond Mushler said. We don't have to go back that far to find this sort of storm. In 1859, an absolutely enormous solar storm known as the Carrington event hit the United States. In the solar storm of 1859, also known as the Carrington event, was a powerful geomagnetic storm during solar cycle 10, 1855 to 1867. A solar coronal mass ejection hit Earth's magnetosphere, and indeed one of the largest geomagnetic storms on record, September 1st and 2nd, 1859. And induced, I said indeed, it induced the largest geomagnetic storm. The associated white light flare in the solar photosphere was observed and recorded by British astronomers Richard C. Carrington, 1826 to 1875, and Richard Hodgson, 1804 to 1872. I believe that was their lifespan. Now, the now standard unique IAU identifier for this flare is SOL 1859-09-01. A solar storm of this magnitude occurring today would cause widespread electrical disruptions, blackouts, and damage due to extended outages of the electrical grid. The solar storm of 2012 was of similar magnitude, but it passed Earth's orbit without striking the planet, missing by 9 days. So, there will be a time where our power grid is destroyed. Now, there was an article. I'm going to tie this into this here right quick. Let me see. I hope it was on Zero Hedge. Right here. It's no wonder that Trump, the Pentagon, or the Department of Defense, DOD, among others, are now racing to develop hypersonic weapons, missiles specifically. Now, if you put yourself in Vladimir Putin's position, or maybe even China's, Xi Jinping, I think his name is. You put them in this position, or you put yourself in their shoes, rather, and you currently have a major advantage over a country, in Russia's case, that has been shitting all over you since World War II? And has been the dominant superpower of the world ever since World War II. Would you let the opportunity to have the tactical advantage, and it's a major tactical advantage, would you allow that opportunity to just pass by without taking advantage of your newfound power? I mean, if I were in their shoes, and the United States had been bullying my country around for a long time, more or less dictating a lot of times to them, I would take the opportunity to destroy that country. And when I say destroy, I don't mean the landmass. I mean the government. I mean the culture. And I'm pretty sure, these Russian hypersonic weapons are capable of detonating in the stratosphere and, up above where the radiation wouldn't necessarily harm the human body, but would destroy a power grid. And think about this for a minute. If you're Vladimir Putin, what would you do? And really, if you really think about it, in doing something like that, Vladimir Putin would be saving the world a lot of tyrannical actions from the United States. So you tell me, do you think it's a probability that Russia will end up using one of these hypersonic missiles to destroy our power grid? Now, I know for a fact that that would be the smartest thing they could do. So, and meanwhile, during this uncertain time, where the future certainly does look pretty fucking bleak. And by the way, there's been many simulated, U.S. gets its ass handed to it in war games, and there's a $24 billion fix. I meant to cover this last week, but the U.S. keeps losing hard in simulated wars with Russia and China. Bases burn, warships sink, but we couldn't fix the problem, but we could fix the problem for about $24 billion a year. One well-connected expert said, less than 4% of the Pentagon's budget. So, not only would it be smart for them to do before the United States had hypersonic missiles, but it would be probably the most ethical thing for them to do, which I bet conversations are going on in the background with many world leaders between Putin and all these world leaders, and they're probably, and this wouldn't surprise me a bit, probably urging him to use them. So, there's no reason to think that this is not going to happen, which brings me back to my original subject. So, government is continuing to arm these agencies, and it's continued under Donald Trump, right? A lot of things have continued under Donald Trump, and in my humble opinion, this is just further proof that Donald Trump is exactly the same as Barack Obama. Barack Obama didn't stop this. He encouraged it. But here's some numbers for you. And this is since fiscal year 2017. So it was during Trump's presidency. All right, so the IRS spent $600,000 on ammunition, but refused to disclose to the Government Accountability Office its intended purpose, and told the Government Accountability Office that it could not provide data on firearms purchases. The IRS stated that in the past that such purchases are used in investigating potential criminal violations of the Internal Revenue Code. Its current inventory is estimated to include... did I already do this? Yeah, I did. I already did do this. So you already got the numbers from me, okay? And this is all continued to happen under Donald Trump. So, you know, we have all this stuff going on, the possibility of an EMP or other lights out scenario, and the government still, Congress, the left-wingers, a lot of Republicans, they're still pushing to take your weapons. And they know what's going to happen. A lot of them. They know. Especially those ones on intelligence committees and things like that. They know. And still, they are pushing to take your weapons. And when this shit happens, we're going to look just like Venezuela. With one big exception. There are people in this country that have kind of peered into the future and decided, you know, maybe it's not so smart to be registering my firearms. Maybe it's not so smart to buy them through normal channels. And it will be those people, if the government's able to get the firearms before any of this happens. If these people that done this, they will be the survivors. They will be the ones with the weapons. And everyone who obeyed enemy edicts, they will be without these things. They will be vulnerable, and they will probably perish as a result. Anyway, I thought I'd share these with you. I hope everyone has a great day. Remember, it's just a matter of time before assholes like this get their wish, and things get ugly. Hope everyone has a good day. Like I said, until next time, kill the steak before the steak kills you.